Are we feeling it?
I'm feeling it.
Let's do it.
In 3. Welcome to Cordkillers. We have killed all the cords, and now we're just looking around going, somebody needs to do something about all these cords, because I want to watch what we want, where we want, whenever we want. I'm Tom Merritt. What do we do with these cords, Brian?
Oh, my goodness. First, we have to find out. We're all trying to figure out who did this, they said, wearing a hot dog costume. Happy 11/11 to you, Tom.
Happy Singles Day and or Pepero Day. Do you know either of those?
No, I don't. I mean, I can imagine the singles.
Singles Day is a mainland Chinese thing that goes back in the 90s and had to do with, at first, with people who weren't dating, but now it's just the biggest sales day of the year. But the Pepero Day is in South Korea. You give people Peperos because they're like Pocky sticks, like chocolate covered sticks.
Yeah.
Crunchy
tubes of chocolate.
Crunchy tubes of chocolate that look like ones.
Well, happy crunchy tubes of chocolate to you too, sir.
And to you, sir. Let's get into the supply run then.
Supply run.
Where's the meat?
Friends, the beef is with Movies Anywhere. The promise of Movies Anywhere. If you even know it exists, you may have hooked up stuff to it and forgotten it's running. It just runs in the background and means that if you buy a movie on whatever service you want, as long as it's participating in Movies Anywhere, you can buy it on Apple TV, watch it on YouTube. Buy it on Fandango, watch it on Amazon Prime. Just replicates your purchases across all your catalogs. Now, the weakness has been that a few studios don't participate, so it doesn't work for every single movie, but it really does work for most of them. However, we now have a new weakness. As of October 31st, Movies Anywhere posted the following. Effective October 31st, Google Play/YouTube will no longer participate in the Movies Anywhere program. Your old synced movies are still there, but if you buy one on Google Play right now, it won't sync. Disney owns Movies Anywhere. And Disney just happens, Brian, to be in a carriage fight with Google over YouTube TV.
Tom, are you familiar with the little old chestnut called The Prisoner's Dilemma?
I am.
Yes.
How would you apply it in this case, Brian?
Well, it seems to me that if what you wanted to do, since all brands are essentially just a marker of your reputation and an extension of your trust, it turns out that when you go up to a Coke machine and you press the Coke button, you expect to get Coke. And it seems to me if you go up to the Movies Anywhere machine and press the Movies Anywhere button, you expect, I don't know, a movie anywhere. And you most certainly don't expect to midway through drinking your Movies Anywhere, suddenly have somebody defect on The Prisoner's Dilemma and decide they don't want to be part of the cartel that promises that the experience is going to be better than piracy because you'll be able to watch your movie anywhere.
Now, here's the question. If you're like, why does this have to do with Disney and YouTube? What's going on with that? There is a dispute over how much money YouTube should pay to carry Disney channels, particularly ESPN, but also ABC and the Disney Channel and all the rest. The dispute went on through the month of October with them temporarily extending the deal, but they didn't extend the deal again. And so now, if you're a YouTube TV subscriber, you don't get any Disney channels. You don't get ABC, you don't get ESPN, you don't get the Disney Channel, you don't get Disney Junior, you get nothing from Disney. And we mentioned last week that Disney had pulled a few of its YouTube channels down, not all of them, but a few of them, and that YouTube was offering subscribers a $10 refund. They have now upped that to $20, and you have to apply for it, and then the credit will be issued tomorrow, as we're recording, November 12th. Morgan Stanley estimates that this dispute is costing Disney $4.3 million a day in lost revenue. However, my theory is that Disney knows that YouTube TV is going to win this little section of streaming, the one that streams like a cable service, and they want to push the carriage fee as high as possible now while YouTube TV is something they can negotiate with. They want to lock it in now because YouTube is just going to get more leverage as they gain more and more of the subscribers in this arena. Disney also has a competing service coming in Fubo, so there's a little bit of that in Disney's side. So they're willing to give up a few $1 million. However, it is hurting Disney more than YouTube. And the question I have for you, Brian, is using your knowledge of the prisoner's dilemma and game theory from the outside, who do you think booted who out of Movies Anywhere?
Okay, so first of all, the loser, no matter what, is of course the consumer. But the question is whether or not the frustration that consumers have, because it's this is Microsoft Plays for sure all over again, right? This is, no guys, don't pirate. We pinky promise this is going to be better. Psych. We have no incentives to follow through on our stuff. And in this case, they're essentially destroying that brand value. But the question is the loss greater or worse than the lost revenues due to an increase of piracy? And that will be very, very hard to track, that negative externality. Now, but if I'm going to pick the bigger loser, I don't know. It seems like everybody loses. I don't know.
Well, that's why I'm looking at this Movies Anywhere thing, and I can't not think it's related to this. No one has claimed it is related to this, but it's Disney and YouTube, right? So I tend to think that Google, the owner of YouTube, is the one that pulled out of Movies Anywhere because that hurts Movies Anywhere. That makes Movies Anywhere's brand less valuable if someone's like, wait a minute, I bought a movie on YouTube.
You know what? Actually, Tom, I think you just stepped in it. The person who pulled out, yeah, the entity that pulled out is the one that is less associated with Movies Anywhere. So YouTube, very little association with Movies Anywhere. I don't go to YouTube. When I want to buy a movie and play it anywhere, I don't go to YouTube. I go to Disney, though, and Disney's the entity that I buy movies from. So Disney is the one that's being hurt more by damaging Movies Anywhere, which therefore means I declare that Google did it in the foyer with the candlestick.
I think you're right, because in the end, this is not going to hurt the consumer, because what's going to happen is they're going to resolve this carriage dispute. Everybody's going to get a little credit on this month. The channels are going to come back. This will last for 10 years and you won't have a dispute between these two for a while, and Movies Anywhere will be restored. And when it's restored, suddenly all of the movies you bought in the interim on YouTube will now sync through Movies Anywhere, and going forward, they all will. So it's just a temporary disruption, but it's calling out, like, do you want it to be permanent, Disney? Would you like it so that people who buy movies through YouTube don't sync across and don't use your platform, and the Movies Anywhere brand is damaged and people start wondering what it is and start looking at the fact that it's controlled by you, ... That is not the thing that's going to bring this carriage dispute to the end. But I think what's interesting about this is we have so many more tools in this. They were talking about this on the Town podcast when they were discussing this earlier this week. There are so many more tools in these disputes than there used to be. It used to be the cable company could broadcast directly to the consumer and say, Disney's being a jerk. And Disney could broadcast on its channels and say, Comcast's being a jerk. And that was it. You just basically had to have a slap fight in public. Now you've got all these ancillary businesses, and YouTube TV is a rounding error on YouTube's revenue, much less Alphabet's revenue, the owner of Google. So it doesn't care the way Comcast did. Comcast cared. YouTube is like, nah, we don't really care that much. We can extend this as long as you want. Disney probably cares a little more. It's still not a huge deal, but they're willing to go to bat and say, let's drag this out because this is going to set a precedent, because we're at the beginning of a battle. The beginnings and endings of battles are always the bloodiest ones. And we're at the beginning of a battle here where we're going to have a new landscape for these kind of streaming services. So do you think, here's the question, was this a fatal wound to Movies Anywhere? Like, is the mere fact of showing that at any point this
completely reliable, trustworthy entity could be yanked out from underneath you.
Most people don't even realize they have it.
Right.
And by the time many people would notice this carriage dispute will be over.
Well, and that's interesting. This is a little bit like extended warranties, where the actual value of extended warranty is not in any kind of service or payoff or benefit or whatever. The value is a thing for salespeople to say to get people over the cusp of making the sale.
Yeah, don't worry. Buy it here. You can still watch it on that other thing you like.
And extended warranties still get sold, which tells me that Movies Anywhere could continue to be a thing to say to get people to buy it.
Absolutely. And in a week or two is when I guess that they will figure this out. Then this won't matter anymore. The other conspiracy theory out there that I think is worth paying attention to is the idea that because Disney launched ESPN as a streaming only service, that they're using this carriage dispute to funnel subscribers over to ESPN. I don't think that's how I'd put it. I think Disney knows it can weather the storm a little longer because it has an alternative. There's another tool that they can use in this battle to be like, well, hey, if all you want was ESPN, we can actually offer that to you. Something you couldn't do in the old cable versus network days. I don't think it makes sense for Disney to blow off the $4 million a day they're losing just on the hopes that they can convince a few people to come over and sign up for the new ESPN service. They have much better ways of getting people to sign up for the new ESPN service. So to me, it's more having that means they can weather the dispute longer, but I don't think that's why they're doing the dispute.
This is an interesting twist, Tom, because in the old cable carriage disputes, PR was never a factor. Nobody liked the cable companies. Nobody was voting. Also, nobody had a choice. Whereas in this case, similar kind of vibe of dispute. However, mudslinging, it does have an effect on both parties. It is a popularity contest, and the people who are going to be the swing votes are going to decide who's the jerk, and then the jerk will probably have to fold.
Yeah. And it'll be based on somebody's gut feeling at some point, because the math is there. The math is easy. Come to agreement on your number or sharing the data of your subscribers or whatever it is. This is all about feeling out whether you think you can give the side to give you one extra point on that number or not. And Disney feels like they have to lock in the highest rate now because YouTube is only going to get more popular. And they're going to go to battle with YouTube TV once they take full control of Fubo and Hulu Live TV and merge them together. So they want to be getting as much out of YouTube TV as possible while they're not seen as a direct competitor to them.
Yeah.
All right. We are a direct competitor to all of them, right, Brian?
Yeah. Well, you know what? You're right, Tom. We should have disclosed this early on. Part of our standard disclosure, we are in direct competition with both Alphabet Corporation and Disney. We would like to insist that 100% for true parity, 100% of their user base also I'm thinking fairness doctrine here, subscribe to us for $1 per episode at patreon.com/Cordkillers. Now, we are willing to make some concessions.
Yeah.
Yes, we will be kept loud, live, and independent. We will continue to bring you the news of cord killing as we have for 15 years and counting. But on top of that, we are willing to allow early access to the full experience, exclusive access to the After Talk segment, and we'll put it all in one convenient RSS feed for everyone. Just to reclaim this incredible offer, head on over to patreon.com/Cordkillers.
Do it now. And now to the search party. Netflix held a Stranger Things Season 5 premiere in Los Angeles last Thursday at a theater and everything. Afterward, it posted the first 5 minutes of episode 1 of Season 5 on YouTube. Volume 1 of Stranger Things Season 5 set to drop on November 26th, Volume 2 on December 25th, and the series finale on December 31st. Netflix also released a trailer for Tales from 85, which is an animated series that takes place between seasons 2 and 3 of Stranger Things. Same characters, new voice cast, though, and that is coming in 2026. Hey, are you getting any Stranger Things fever, Brian?
I'll tell you what, I think it's an impressive and bold move for Netflix to just basically say, the holidays, we own them. It'll be fine. You're all going to like it. It's good enough. Let's go. Did you watch the first 5 minutes?
I did. And it confused me a minute because there's a bit of a flashback in it. And I was like, wait, that didn't happen last season. I'm like, oh, right. Because this is showing me something previous.
Well, and first of all, I think that, remember last time, I think it was last week, I was speculating on how this would perform for people who fell off to come back. This was a very effective on-ramp where it's like, you remember the first season, I bet. Yes, I do. Great. So you remember this. Also, first thing I didn't even make it 2 minutes, was already ChatGPT asking, did they digitally de-age people? Because that looks pretty digitally de-aged.
Yeah. And?
Yes.
The answer was yes. Gotcha. At its annual N7 Day, which is it's kind of a, fan convention for BioWare. BioWare announced that Amazon's Mass Effect TV show is in production. A blog post noted that the show will explore a brand new story within the universe's timeline and will be set after the original trilogy. It won't be a retread of Commander Shepard's story because, after all, that's your story, isn't it? Show is expected at the end of next year. Amazon has not announced a definitive date yet, though.
This is kind of brilliant. I like the admission that it's like Commander Shepard's story is your story because, of course, you get to customize your Commander Shepard, male or female. You get to romance whoever you want. But along the way, you develop a deep affinity for a giant cast of characters, and seeing them show up in a TV show, I think will be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Even setting it after, you still have a Commander Shepard that's a big part of this universe that you might want to refer to. So I'm curious how they're going to handle that.
Commander Shepard. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're going to have to be careful how they refer to Commander Shepard because
with
he or they
whatever,
or she or all of that. So
wouldn't it be great if they do kind of an Ender thing? Did you ever read the sequels to Ender's Game where he was essentially a religious figure but he was still alive because of relativity?
Yeah, they could do something like that actually, and that would work pretty well. Warner Brothers is officially reviving the Gremlins franchise with a new installment coming November 19th, 2027. Steven Spielberg will return to executive produce, but filmmaker Chris Columbus will direct.
I think that's great. Which of the Harry Potters did he do? I think it was 3.
He did the original Harry Potter.
This just in, hot off the wire, Tom. Warner likes money. Turns out Warner
news.
Likes money. Breaking.
Yeah.
Breaking.
Do we need a new Gremlins franchise?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
We don't need. Not need. Do we want one? Maybe. Maybe we do. Let's see.
Here's the thing. Gremlins is not a precious franchise. It's beloved and remembered for one very dark story about Christmas. It's remembered and beloved for being a very unlikely Christmassy movie and for doing little satirical one-note jokes in Gremlins 2. That's a rich playground where you get to do a bunch of... Also, I think humans are in the mood for practical effects. They're puppets, hilarious puppets. Go.
Yeah. Paramount has inked a new 5-year media rights agreement to make Paramount Plus the streaming home of PBR. Not Pabst Blue Ribbon. Sorry. Professional bull riders. Huh? That turned your boo into a yay. No?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Unleash the Beast tour will start on Paramount Plus in the 2026 season on December 12th.
Is bull riding politically coded?
Probably.
Yeah, I guess it does.
Because you can't spell probably without PBR.
Or problem.
Problem.
Problemly.
Sure. Since everything is politically coded, yes, I'll say definitively, yes, it is. I think what's more important, though, is that this is the most popular sport Paramount Plus can claim right now, next to college football, because they have all the CBS college football stuff. They have a little bit of NFL stuff with CBS as well, so it's not like they're zero. But when you're talking about exclusives, you are never talking about the big sports. You're always talking about WWE or women's NBA or Major League Soccer. And I think Professional Bull Riders is right there of like, oh, okay, this has got a dedicated following that is very enthusiastic and will come over to Paramount Plus because we're going to make it the place to watch it.
To be honest, I think that the closest comp is Netflix deciding to bring F1 to the USA. I think that essentially you're taking a niche, beloved sport that has a rich opportunity to tell incredible behind the scenes
stories. It's already in the USA. They're just taking it away from where it had been.
Well, my point is it's at a layer of popular culture that is beneath a certain threshold. So it's essentially taking it from the minor leagues and putting it on the big stage.
Yeah. I see what you're talking about. Yeah, absolutely. Paramount giveth and Paramount taketh away. No more Star Trek Kelvinverse. If you don't know what the Kelvinverse is, that's the one with Chris Pine and Simon Pegg. J.J. Abrams directed a couple of those movies. They had been continuously telling us they were working on the next one, and rumors would come and go whether directors and actors were attached. But they have now apparently ended all work.
To be honest, I think that this is a strong endorsement of their mainstream Star Trek strategy. I think that what they're saying is, no, we're good. We don't need to hedge. We don't need a separate strategy for the big screen. If anything, maybe the big screen has some beloved people that you have seen from Brave New World.
Yep. Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2 are going to be released as a single film later this year, starting on December 5th, under the title Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair. The running time of both movies back-to-back, which are a single story. It's just because they were so long, they were released as two different movies. The running time is 4 hours with a 15-minute intermission, which tells me you're going to watch Volume 1, take a 15 intermission, and watch Volume 2. That's probably
yes. However, although it wouldn't surprise me if maybe they change the cliffhanger moment a little bit. Yeah.
Try to shift that to subvert your expectations.
I'm going to bet that, as we know, Kill Bill came out around the time that Quentin Tarantino started owning the fact that he was more of a remix artist than he copped to originally. Mm-hmm. And I'll bet that we are as far away from the original release of Kill Bill as Kill Bill was away from the source material from which it remixed at the time. About 20 years.
That sounds about right. Yeah. Maybe even a little farther now from
Isn't that
Kill
wild?
Bill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Quentin Tarantino kept working on a Star Trek movie for the Kelvinverse. So that is gone now as part of that. Side note. Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender has wrapped filming of its third and final season. They filmed seasons 2 and 3 back to back. So now both are in post-production.
Yeah, dude. Anybody still wanting to poop all over this?
Any takers? No.
Any takers?
Yeah.
Do we still hate people trying to make good reinterpretations?
No. Do we?
Yeah, maybe Cordkillers@gmail.com. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I will do a quick PSA. We had one very thoughtful email this week, but I like the spicy takes. So now's a good time. You want to take me on? As I've said before, I am in favor of swinging for the fences. And that means, although I understand if you already got a Fallout tattoo, if you're wearing a Fallout watch, maybe you're nervous if Fallout gets adapted into something, maybe it's going to be good or bad. A lot of people pooping all over Cowboy Bebop before it even came out. Turns out you were right. But the point is, I'm always in favor of trying, and no matter how many swings, I want to see people keep trying on the Airbender story. Come at me, cordkillers@gmail.com.
Does that mean you're cool with Toy Story 5? Because they're just trying.
Yes, I am. Now,
Toy Story 5 trailer just came out. I don't know if you even had a chance to see it.
Oh, I missed this.
I put this in right before the show.
Oh, doggone it. Did you watch it? How was it?
It is just a teaser. You're not missing much. It just shows all the toys that you're familiar with from Toy Story, like Dino and everybody. Like, ooh, a new box arrived. It's a new toy. And then they open it up and it's Lily Pad, an instructional technology toy.
Oh, so it's an iPad.
And then it shows them all looking frightened and unsure what's going on. Greta Lee is apparently voicing Lilypad. Toy Story 5 set to hit theaters June 19th, 2026.
That's great. Lilypad is a good riff on Leapfrog, which is a good general stand-in for all our toddlers playing with iPads.
Yep, exactly. On to the buried treasure.
Most people want to know why they suddenly got rich.
Buried treasure.
Well, this is usually a segment where Brian and I each bring something we've been watching so that you have a couple things to add to your to-watch list. Maybe you can discover something you wouldn't have discovered otherwise. But we got the same thing this time. We are both watched the first episode of Pluribus. I have watched also the second episode of Pluribus. That's all the Pluribus that is out. If you don't know what Pluribus is, it's Vince Gilligan's new show, he of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul fame. It stars Rhea Seehorn, she of Kim Wexler from Better Call Saul fame. And it is not at all related to Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul.
Or is it? I'd like to believe it is an actual sequel.
Well, they did a promo for it where they got Bryan Cranston and Gus Fring and like pretty much everyone from the Breaking Bad universe to show up in it. But maybe it is. I mean, this is not Kim Wexler, but we are in Albuquerque. So
that's true.
Who knows?
So here's your last chance to press pause and go in blind. I will say there's a fine surprise that you spend a fair bit wondering where this is going. You find out where it's going, and it turns out, I swear, spoiler alert, turns out it's going to one of my favorite Rick and Morty episodes. It's great. It's great. It's a great show.
Vince Gilligan doing a fine job with it. I found out a tiny bit about it before I watched it, and it turned out to be a misleading tiny bit. It was accurate, but led me to expect something that I was incorrect to expect. And so I found it to be still kind of a nice surprise. I think it is fair to say, without being spoilery, that it is very good at genre bending, at taking a genre and turning it so that it's still technically the trope or the genre that you're talking about, but in an entirely new perspective.
Yeah. Did you call either of those numbers?
No, but I saw you tell me that you can call them.
Yeah.
What happens when you call them?
Well, here, I'll do it right now, live on the air.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
There you go. I'm calling a phone number in Washington, D.C.
Hi, Carol. We're so glad you called. We can't wait for you to join us. Dial 0, and we'll get back to you via text message.
It's great. It's a great show. Watch it.
Yeah. We will talk spoilery about it in After Talk, right?
Oh, yeah. After Talk. You're talking about the exclusively for patrons segment that we do.
Yeah. Otherwise, I would just say, if you don't want to be spoiled, or if you haven't watched it yet and you don't want to be spoiled, go give it a shot. Go give it a shot. I saw so many different people. This is one of those shows where I'm like, wait, that person and that person don't usually agree on TV, and they're both raving about this, that I had to give it a watch. If you got something we should be on the lookout for, email us, cordkillers@gmail.com.
Tom, I don't know that I want to watch anything. I want to just read a book. Call me old-fashioned, but you know what? I like to learn a little more about something. Too bad there's nothing out there.
I'm sorry, Brian. I totally missed what you were saying because I was too engrossed in my own book that I am reading right now.
Wait, what is it?
Synced. Know a little more about tech. This is a compilation of a lot of the information from my Know a Little More podcast that just tells you everything about technology, how networking works, how phones work, the history of desktop computers, You get it all. You get it told in a fun way, a way that assumes that you probably know something, but maybe you don't know everything. So even if you know about software and productivity, the chapter on Windows is going to tell you a few things you didn't know. It's super fun. You can find it now on Amazon as a Kindle ebook. It's available in other ebook stores as well. We're selling it directly as a PDF and EPUB on dailytechnewsshow.com/store as well. And yes, this print version is nearing approval. So keep an eye out for that as well, and you'll be able to get it in print. You can find the details at tomsnewbook.com.
Tom, it seems to me, is this one of those awesome coffee table books where it's like, if you're a tech head, it's just out, you could just pick it up, open it anywhere and
just
know a little more?
Yeah. Give me a page number.
205.
205. Let me get to 205765. Bluetooth. Bluetooth is a rather old wireless technology standard meant for exchanging data over short distances. It was conceived of as a replacement for wires and is now used wirelessly. And then it goes on to talk about, the people in Sweden who named it after a king named Bluetooth and all of that stuff. So yeah, just pick it up, take a look, tomsnewbook.com.
Right on.
Now we scan the horizon.
Send a scanning to avoid.
Scanning the horizon!
Amazon Prime Video has a series called House of David that shows the story of the rise of the biblical King David. Opens season 2 with David versus Goliath, and Wonder Project, which produces it, says it has used generative models, AI, for 350 to 400 visual effects shots this season. That's about 4 times what it used last season. Wonder Project says it used the tech for crowd replication, but also to make some cool-ass stone fortresses, hillside fires, misty mountain scenes. You have real humans acting in the foreground. They're using it to generate the scenery behind them. Wonder says it is using a combination of models. So stuff from Google, Adobe, Runway, a company called Luma, doing some ray tracing. But this is causing a lot of eyebrow raising because they're being totally SAG-AFTRA compliant, but not worrying too much about what people are going to think about them for using these generative models.
I think part of that is an acknowledgement that there's no fighting City Hall, in this case, Robot Hall, right?
Yeah.
But also what this reminds me of, tell me if this sounds like a comp to you, is Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Very obviously, the matte paintings in the background are different than the cell-shaded cells in the foreground. And I think that SAG-AFTRA's battle was to make sure that it's humans in the foreground and they're less insistent on fighting about, like, fine, have rich matte paintings in the background.
I think there's still some fights over crew and folks that need to be honored here. And I think Wonder Project is respecting that as well. My take on this is Wonder Project is like, we're a niche filmmaker. We have a very enthusiastic audience that is going to see our stuff and watch our stuff on Amazon. And we're not too worried about that audience being mad. If anyone else is mad, well, they weren't going to watch our stuff anyway. So,
well, and that's just it, is it takes for when you have one of these niche markets that are, forgive me, judgment proof, they only worry about one judgment. The man upstairs.
That's right. Yeah. Wait, you're in a 2-story house.
No, that's right.
Not
That's
at the moment,
me.
right? Yeah.
But I think that's that makes sense that would be the outlier.
Yeah. I think this is the sort of the thin edge of the wedge in this sort of thing. Is you start to see the indies folks using it, and then the big studios go, well, look, they're using it and the world didn't end, and look how good it is, and we could do it better than they did because their stuff isn't as good, and we can polish it. And that's how you end up getting this sort of thing used in the studio space. Speaking of which, Gemini is rolling out to Google TV devices as of this past Monday. Gemini also available on the Walmart On 4K Pro streaming device, which uses the Google TV interface. So you'll be able to just talk more naturally. You could talk to Google Assistant on these, but now that you have Gemini, you can speak in a more natural way.
Yeah, only peripherally related to Gemini. We're seeing the rollout behind the scenes on YouTube. You can now talk to YouTube Studio with natural language, which is very interesting.
Warner Brothers Discovery announced earnings, and it's interesting, not because we care about earnings here, but because we know Warner Brothers Discovery is up for sale. We know that they want to split themselves in two. So let's see how the two sides are doing. Streaming and studios, which I have previously referred to as the profitable part, made a profit. $1 billion, up 58% for the quarter on revenue of $5.3 billion, up 8%. Global linear networks, which is all that other stuff, basically any network that's not HBO, profit fell 20%, still makes $1.7 billion on revenue, down 22% to $3.8 billion. Films revenue went way up, ad revenue went way down. HBO Max added 2.3 million subscribers and now has 128 million worldwide. So that puts it right there with Disney and Netflix as far as like being in the 100 million club. Deadline sources say that Warner Brothers Discovery wants a sale to happen by the end of this year. And if it doesn't, it will continue with its plan to split into those two companies.
What an interesting, it's as though, I guess going back to biblical lore, it's as though the king is raising an axe over the baby saying, two people better want this baby real fast.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to chop it in half.
And one of these babies, Comcast, you could have half of this baby. We're fine with that if you want to buy, because I bet Paramount will buy the other half. We'll still split the baby if you want.
This baby is in the way of this sword.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I don't know if we have a sale by the end of this year, but I think we
That
do
is
get a
awfully
sale.
fast.
Yeah. I do think we get a sale, and I think it will be to someone unexpected. And it might even be to two people. They might split the company and sell the pieces. AMC Entertainment saw revenue fall to $1.3 billion. That was down 11%. This is the AMC that does the theaters, not the AMC TV network. This is the AMC theaters. 11% decline in domestic box office, but that was expected. So they are very optimistic that they will have a bigger quarter coming. They also expect 2026 to be dramatically larger than 2025. And when you say, well, of course they're going to say that, these are investor statements. They can't be too off or they can get sued by their investors. So they have to have some reasons to back it up.
Yeah, and to be honest, this tracks with, post-pandemic, post-labor disputes. Finally, Hollywood got back to the business of making blockbusters, and it tracks that 2026 would be when they're all going to come out.
Yeah, they had a big Q2. Q2 is like April, May, June. And then just a softer third quarter comparatively. Summer's still a bigger movie time. It wasn't as big as it was last year. Sources told The Hollywood Reporter that Netflix has sent dozens of requests to agents at all the big agencies, WME, UTA, CAA, trying to add more video podcasts to the Netflix platform. The plan is that the company would like to launch a video podcast offering in early 2026, by which time it wants to have a library of shows.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've been thinking, they just want to get video podcasters to make shows for Netflix. And if it's their video podcast, that's fine. It sounds from what The Hollywood Reporter is saying that Netflix would like to have a podcast section of Netflix where you can watch podcasts.
So here's the problem, Tom, is I don't think that there are podcast fans, by which there are fans of podcasts,
Yes.
but there aren't people who just love the format of
the way they love science fiction, for
or
example.
horror or adventure.
Right. Is podcast a genre?
It really isn't. It's just a modality. It's like, I love anything in a magazine. No, you love a magazine.
Is it, though, equivalent to TV show or movie? Like, is it distinct enough where you're like, these are the podcasts, these are the TV shows, these are the movies? That makes sense to me.
I guess it is distinct enough in that it is a thing to have on to keep you company while you do the dishes.
Yeah, versus a TV show, I expect to have a storyline or something, even if it's a
good
documentary.
enough TV show. Like, for example, Pluribus, I would not recommend anybody do the dishes. Give it your full attention.
Right. And finally, CBS and Sony have resolved their differences. I know you were all worried but they've come together. We talked about this previously over the distribution of Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. Sony will take over international distribution on December 1st. CBS handles U.S. distribution through 2028. Then it goes to Sony, and CBS will handle advertising through at least 2030, though it might continue after that. So basically, Sony's going to eventually take over the distribution. CBS is going to continue to handle the advertising. Sony has always owned those shows, Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, but CBS previously oversaw distribution as well as sales.
Tom, I'd like to think that we are brave enough and mature enough to admit when we got it wrong. This should have been the pissing contest that was our lead story, not this Alphabet versus Disney thing.
You think? Really?
This is the real cultural divide. Like, tearing apart Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. No,
but they've come back together. That now it's not interesting anymore. They've made up. So, and then it's just a bunch of numbers. All right, let's move on to the chatter.
Got mail.
Norm writes, "Hey, Brian, with holidays and breaks coming up, I thought I'd throw out a potential evergreen topic. Lately, my YouTube feed has been serving up a steady stream of magic trick exposés, kind of like the ones Val Valentino did as the Masked Magician back in the day. Apparently, David Copperfield did use camera tricks to fly over the Grand Canyon. I know, shocking. What? Next, you'll tell me rabbits don't actually live inside top hats. That got me thinking. Where do you draw the line between demystifying magic to inspire curiosity and outright spoiling the craft? Does revealing the method kill the wonder? Or can it actually deepen appreciation and spark new interest? I know Scam School takes a different approach by teaching tricks rather than just exposing them, but is there a meaningful difference between showing how something works and helping someone perform it themselves?
Yeah, we can unpack this a bit more in After Talk, but Tom, I'm sure I shared with you, I had to do some deep introspection because Scam School was, the tip of the spear of nobody knew what to make of Scam School. Was it a TV show? What did YouTube count as teaching or exposure? And it became in retrospect very clear that magicians hadn't done a lot of economic theory. There wasn't a lot of studying the tragedy of the commons and figuring out about property rights, intellectual and otherwise. But essentially, both the Society of American Magicians and the International Brotherhood of Magicians define the difference between teaching and exposure down to one thing. Is there a specific action taken on behalf of the student to show that they want to learn magic? Is there some action that they do, whether it's going to the library, whether it's opening up the book of or the box of magic kits and practicing or not practicing usually the effect and doing it? Basically, in the case of the Masked Magician, the bummer about that was less, I suspect, about the teaching of the methods and much more about the attitude of just disrespecting the art in general. Everybody pretended as though it was the exposure that was the problem, but truthfully, it was disrespectful. It was a disrespectful show, and anyone who says otherwise clearly hasn't watched it in a minute. So in the case of Scam School, very clear hygiene. Number one, the lessons were always complete from beginning to end. Can you do the trick? Yes or no? If you cannot do the trick, then it was not a lesson. It was just exposure. If you can't do the trick, then clearly you were just taught something. And of course, YouTube has the advantage of requiring that you click on it. Shorts are a little bit different. You have to be more judicious in shorts because those do kind of leap out and attack you with knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. Even the algorithm may think you want to learn that knowledge, but you haven't specifically requested.
Yeah. By the way, Norm is telling on himself because the algorithm isn't just deciding to serve you up magic lessons. That's what you lingered on, and it's just giving you more of it.
We hit upon a kind of a fun thing I think we're going to do on the It's a Thing podcast with Molly Wood, where Molly, Mia, and our producer Rich all did a screen capture of our Instagram feeds at the same time. And they were you'd think it was a different program. Like they were so wildly different.
It's a real problem, Tom. Like I truly believe that we need to eat our information vegetables. We need to have some kind of shared reality. There should be, and I would prefer it not be a government run thing. I prefer that of their own volition, all the streaming services agree on a few things they're all going to carry and dedicate 25% of their screen screen real estate on the front page to, so that we as a nation can, as a world,
as a planet, right?
Yeah,
Because there's
at
no
least
more
have
borders on the internet.
Some segment
Yeah.
of our lives that is not, otherwise it's just candy. I can't. I'm every so often I make the mistake of opening the YouTube app instead of the YouTube Studio app, and when I do, my productivity is shot. It's it's got my number, and everything is, feels kind of like I'm learning, feels kind of like it's important.
Yeah. Well, and I know that everybody's algorithm is different. I'm the jerk in the room who pours cold water on people when they say, well, everybody's talking about, and I'm like, well, are they though?
Yeah.
However, I was still stunned to see Rich and Molly's feeds and go, there's nothing that was in my feed. Nothing.
That can't be healthy for us to
Right.
live in totally different realities.
Yeah. Well, our reality is always your reality. So share this one at cordkillers.com. Our email address, please send us an email with your thoughts. I'm telling you, the condenser, the email, the better chance it gets read on the show, but we love getting any of them. So send them along, cordkillers@gmail.com. We're live on twitch.tv/Night Attack and youtube.com/Modern Rogue, Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. Reckon we'll talk to you again next time.
Woo!
Happy single.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.